right. Today, boys and girls, we are going to talk a little bit about some more about trees. Yesterday, we learned that there are two types of trees. What two types of trees did we learn about, Brooklyn?
The evergreen tree.
The evergreen tree and Dylan, the other one.
The deciduous tree.
The deciduous tree. That's right. Now, how are those two trees different? How are they different? Kenneth, tell me, how are they different?
It's because you lose the leaves in winter.
Which one loses the leaves in the winter? The evergreen or the deciduous?
Deciduous.
Right. The deciduous tree loses its leaves in the winter. You are exactly right.
But the green evergreen trees can die, but it will never change.
That's right. They stay the green and the same. When do the deciduous trees start to grow new leaves? Olivia. What season do they start to grow new leaves?
Spring.
In the spring. Right. Good. So, we're looking at this picture, and we talked about this picture yesterday and a little bit because it has both kinds of trees in it, doesn't it? The deciduous tree is bare, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does it do in the winter? Shaylin.
The leaves.
It goes to sleep. Right. It goes dormant. Can you say dormant?
Dormant.
Dormant means that it goes to sleep. Okay, because there's not enough light for it to make its food, right? Right. I want you to listen carefully to today's lesson about evergreen trees. Listen carefully to learn about the trees and find out how they are different from deciduous trees. The trees in this picture are evergreen trees. Evergreen trees are similar and different to the deciduous trees you learned about earlier. We use the word evergreen to describe plants that have leaves and stay green all year. Evergreens come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but they all have at least one obvious thing in common. They are always green. Do you remember what word is inside the word evergreen that helps us know that they are always green? Ever. That's right. Always green. Are there any evergreen trees like this near your home?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about.
You probably have seen some, and I know that you have seen some here at the school. Remember when we took our leaf walk? And I pointed the evergreen trees out to you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one in yours?
I used to, but it died on me. I used to have one that was like twisty, but it died. Huh. So, no, I don't have, but I bet there's some real close to in my woods. One type of evergreen tree is called a pine tree. Pine trees have a pleasant smell, which many people like to have in their homes during the winter months. So, you know the trees that we go and get at Christmas time?
Yeah.
Those are evergreen trees.
And pine trees. Like
the real ones. Yeah, not the trees that you get out of the box. But if you go and get like one of the real trees, that's an evergreen tree. The leaves on most evergreen trees are called needles. Needles are very thin leaves. This picture shows the needles of a pine tree. Evergreen trees, like deciduous trees, make food through photosynthesis, which occurs in these tiny needle leaves. Do you remember what photosynthesis is? Brooklyn, what is photosynthesis?
It's a kind of flower, but it's part of photosynthesis.
No, photosynthesis is how plants use light to turn water and air into food. Remember that? Remember how we talked about the leaves and how it uses the light to turn it into food? Remember that? That's what photosynthesis photosynthesis slows down during the winter in evergreen trees, but it does not stop altogether as it does in deciduous trees. Because the needles of an evergreen tree are much smaller than the leaves of a deciduous tree, it is easier for the evergreen tree to make enough food to keep most of its leaves alive and on the tree all year long. Wherever you find evergreen trees, you are likely to find these things scattered around on the ground. If you look up while standing under an evergreen tree, you might see some of these growing on the tree's branches. They are called cones. And actually, I have one right here. Cones are the parts of the evergreen trees that contain the seeds. So this is a real pine cone, And I'm gonna show my people on my video. Okay, and this one actually came around my dad's house, but this is where the seeds are in the evergreen tree, and this one's really pretty, isn't it? Isn't this one really pretty? Yeah, you could decorate. A lot of people, I wish I had a lot of these because.
Miss Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
hey, this is a baker.
Oh, okay. 1 minute.
You're fine.
I seen the bigger pine cone than this.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to answer that phone call. So, this is where the evergreen tree keeps its seeds. Okay. Now, with this, like you said, yeah, some people decorate with these. I wish I had a bunch of them because they make really cute little Christmas trees. I made one when I was a little girl. I should try to find it, shouldn't I? I bet I have it at home because Miss Smith doesn't get rid of anything. Most evergreen trees are called conifers. Can you say conifers?
Conifers.
Which is another word for trees that have needle-like leaves and make cones. The cones in this picture are called pine cones. Unlike deciduous trees, which have flowers and fruit, conifer trees do not have flowers, and they do not grow fruit. Instead, conifer trees make cones, and seeds grow inside their cones. When a cone opens in the ground, the seeds fall out and spread by the wind. Why are seeds important? Piper, why are seeds important?
Because they grow the plants.
Right, they grow the plant. If the seed falls into the soil and has the right amount of food, water, air, and light, it might grow into a seedling and then into a sapling. Do you remember what a sapling is?
No,
Olivia, what's a sapling?
it's like a teenager.
It's a baby tree. Yeah, it's a baby tree. Can you say sapling?
Sapling.
Good. The first plants you will notice in this picture are ferns, which are not evergreens or trees. Ferns are short plants that grow in the woods. If you have sharp eyes, though, you can see another type of plant in this picture. There is a little pine sapling. Do you see this little pine sapling? It's
I saw that.
These are the ferns, but this is the little pine sapling. It's a baby tree pushing its way through the ferns. If the sapling is tough, as many pine trees are, it will continue growing until it stands high above the ferns. It may grow big enough to produce its own pine cones one day. Remember that the seeds to make new pine trees are inside the cone. Did you know that a tree adds a new layer of wood each year? This new layer forms what is called a growth ring. When you cut down a tree, you can see the growth rings. You can tell exactly how old a tree is by counting the rings. How old do you think this tree is?
Oh, 100. 130. I say
It's Luke said he thought it was old. Luke, why do you think it's old? Because there's a lot of rings. This tree is a little more than 50 years old, which is actually pretty young for a tree. If it had been cut down, this tree might have lived to 100 or more growth rings. Yeah, trees can live a long time.
I was going to say one.
What, Dylan?
I was going to say one.
Oh, you were going to say that? Mhm. Remember, evergreen trees and deciduous trees are two main types of trees found in the world. Next time you see a tree, try to figure out whether it is an evergreen or a deciduous tree. The leaves may give you your first clue. Okay? What is an evergreen tree? Shayla, what's an evergreen tree?
It's a Christmas tree, and the leaves never fall down.
That's right. It stays green all year round, doesn't it? What color is it in the spring?
Green.
What color is it in the summer?
Green.
What color is it in the fall?
Green.
What color is it in the winter?
Green.
That's right. What important part of a plant is found in the cones? Brooklyn? The seeds. That's right. What are the leaves of an evergreen tree called? Dylan? Close. Needles. Yes, needles. And what do the needles do? Look, it's a lot like leaves on deciduous trees. So what do the needles do? Do you know what the needles do on the evergreen tree? Dylan.
They get food.
Right, they make the food for the tree called photosynthesis, right? Good. All right. Boys and girls, my online students, for your assignment, what you're going to do is I would like for you to get a piece of paper and I want you to draw a picture of an evergreen tree. And I want you to show as many details as possible. Remember, when you're drawing the evergreen tree, make sure that it has needles, right? And you may want to add a few pine cones or cones for your evergreen tree. All right, I hope you enjoyed your knowledge lesson today about evergreen trees, and we will see you later.